Hey guys, so I'm back. I know it's been like a minute since I made a video, and I do apologize. I've just been very, very depressed and having a hard time even getting out of bed, so here I am. And unfortunately, I'm here because I have got to talk about this. Because I was already depressed, and now I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I'm questioning humanity on this because I don't understand how somebody could be so evil. And I had a bunch of cases that I was thinking about talking about, but when this happened, everything got put on the back burner for now. Like, I'm not going to get into the ones that I was thinking about doing because on Thursday last week, this man in Ohio, 32-year-old father, for some strange reason, decided that he needed to execute his three baby sons, ages 3, 4, and 7. He lined them up in the front yard in front of their mother and sister and shot them all in the head with a rifle, 22 rifle. One of the little boys tried to run away, and he made it out into like the middle of a field, and this man actually hunted down his little son, dragged him back to the house, and killed him. Like, to imagine the kind of fear that that child had to be feeling while he was trying to run for his life. Like, the articles are still like a little sketchy because, you know, not all the information has come out just yet, but like, it says specifically that he ran this little boy down, dragged him back, and killed him. But like, what I'm curious to know is like, had he already killed one of the brothers and like that scared him, so he ran away, so like he knew the whole time that if his dad caught him, he was gonna die? Like, did his dad catch him and say, "Oh no, it's okay. He's gonna be fine," and try to lie to him to get him to not fight? It just, in my head, it's so horrific, the picture like that. I'm trying to understand. I can't. How could anybody do something so horrible? All right, let me just get into I'm gonna read you guys an article. I also have some video for you guys. I have the police body cam footage of when he was arrested, which is gut-wrenching, absolutely gut-wrenching. They have a black box over, because the three little boys are right there. Like, their bodies are laying right there on the front lawn as the cops get there. So that's like blocked off so you can't see the kids or the mother, because the mother's trying to do CPR on these little babies. And he's just sitting there on the porch with his rifle, looking like, not a care in the world. I don't understand. I don't understand, you guys. I don't. I'm, like, so grossed out. Alright, anyway, let me get to this article here. An Ohio man is facing murder charges after allegedly lining up his three young sons, ages 7, 4, and 3, and shooting them execution style, authorities said. One of the boys tried to flee, but Chad Doerman allegedly told police he hunted him down and shot him, authorities said. On Thursday at about 4:15 p.m., a woman called 911 screaming that her babies had been shot. This was their mom. The Claremont County Sheriff's Office said in a release. 3 minutes later, a driver in the area called 911 to report that a young girl was running down the road yelling that her father was killing everyone, the sheriff's office said. Deputies rushed to a home in a 1900 block of Laurel-Lindale Road in Monroe Township and found Doerman, 32, sitting on the steps with a rifle sitting next to him. Stand up, a deputy yelled to him before pulling him off the steps and forcing him to the ground, where he handcuffed him, according to body cam footage. With wails heard in the background, the deputy reportedly asked him what was going on, and Doerman said, "Nothing." Shortly after, deputies found 3 children who had been shot, laying in the yard unresponsive. They attempted CPR, but the children died at the scene. The children's mother, who was 34, she's not publicly been identified, but her name is Laura Doerman, I guess. She is 34, and she was shot in the hand while trying to get the gun away from this man. Um, that's what they stated when he was arraigned, which I also have that for you guys. I'm going to put that in here as well. His arraignment, like, this happened on Thursday. He was in court on Friday, and the district attorney explained everything that happened and asked for the highest bail that anybody's ever had, ever, like $20 million. That's pretty wild. So the wife was taken to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Deputies met her in the hospital to tell her that her sons had all died. Doerman was arrested without incident and taken to the sheriff's office for questioning. He has since been charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder. He was taken to the Claremont County Jail, where he is being held, again, a $20 million bond. Doerman allegedly confessed to killing the boys. David Gast, head of the Claremont County Prosecutor's Office Criminal Division, said in court Friday. He allegedly planned the shootings for several months, according to court documents. This did not happen on a whim. The trauma that this man has inflicted on his family, the community, law enforcement, first responders, and all of the rest of us who have any idea of what is going on here is unspeakable, Gast said. During the arraignment, Doerman stood near in center of the court, flanked by deputies and wearing a protective vest, crying as he listened to Gast. Speaking to the judge, Gast said there has been full admission in this case and that authorities are still investigating. But the evil horror of what we know is impossible to process, he said, the outlet reports. In an act of just incomprehensible cruelty, the father lined up his 3 young boys and executed them in his own home with a rifle. In an act of desperation, the mother at some point grabbed the gun that the father was wielding to attempt to protect them. One of the boys was able to break away and flee into a field near the house. Allegedly, by Doerman's own admission, Gast said the father hunted that boy down, drug him back to the property, and executed him in front of witnesses. In asking for $20 million bond, Gast told the judge that these boys looked to their father for protection, love, and guidance from the man they trust more than any person on earth. Police said there were no signs of forced entry into the home. There are no suspects. He was their world, their guardian, Gast said, and he executed them in cold blood. Doerman's father, Keith Doerman, he's 59, and he's telling reporters that his son just snapped. No, his son did not just snap. If he had planned this for months, this was not a snap. It wasn't a, spur-of-the-moment thing. So I just want to put that out there, because his father's talking, trying to, make it seem like his son is not a scumbag. His son is disgusting. There was something going on in his life that he couldn't handle no more, Keith said, the outlet reports. I can't talk to him. They are not letting me talk to him, so I don't have any answers. He probably hid a lot of stuff from me. You think? On June 11th, Doerman posted pictures on social media of him with his 3 sons smiling and giving the thumbs up. I'm going to show you guys those pictures. It's just horrible. Nice crew there, one person posted. Gloria Doerman wrote, Grandma loves this picture. A GoFundMe has been started to help defray funeral expenses. The GoFundMe states, my sister lost her 3 amazing babies yesterday. Her name is Rachel Brown, and she's the sister of the mom. Nothing will make this better. It will never be okay, but please, if you can find it in your heart to help relieve the financial burden of this tragedy, please donate. No one should have to go through this. Doerman's attorney did not immediately respond. So that's where we are, you guys. He's sort of like, almost like Chris Watts in a way, only like he admitted it straight out, because he had to. It was obvious. And just a couple of things that I wanted to mention, like when the police are arresting him, like they have him down on the ground and he's being so smug, like, and the cop's like, what's going on, man? Nothing. You just murdered your baby. It's like, what? nothing. So blasé, you know, and at that same time, the mother in the background is screaming, and she says, like, he took my life from me, my whole life. And I swear to God, it is the hardest thing to hear. I mean, you hear her trying and begging the police to make her babies come back, you know, and it's just awful. And I'm gonna play that video for you guys to just listen to in the background. It's absolutely gut-wrenching. So yeah, that was the body cam. I've seen it a few times now, and it gets worse every time. I'm thinking about the poor 16-year-old, you know, running down the road she had her little dog with her. They had a little black lab, adorable little puppy. You'll see him running around. Oh, you probably just saw him running around in the body cam video as Chad's yelling at him to get in the house. But apparently this is a very rural area, like the houses are really far apart from each other, and it's a main, like, highway sort of road that goes down in front of the house, and this little girl was just running up the street with this little dog, and she stopped, she was running toward, there's a firehouse, a little ways up and on the other side of the road, so she was running for the firehouse, but a lady saw her and stopped, and offered to, you know, give her a ride or whatever, but she was just hysterical, and she said, please call 911, my father's killing everybody, or my stepfather is killing everybody, shooting everybody. So of course the lady did call 911. There's a few interviews with her. I was gonna put them in here, but it's really kind of short, and the only thing she says is that she wishes she could get the little girl in the car, like, but she didn't want to leave her family, something like that. She was just on her way to the grocery store. But yeah, so that was, like, absolutely horrific. And then there was another interview with a guy that lived in the area who said that he was always a little weird. Chad, always a little strange, and, like, that he was always arguing with his wife, and I don't know. I mean, honestly, my thoughts are, like, I wonder if she was gonna leave him, and, like, this was his way of, like, well, you're never gonna see your kids again. Like, if you leave, you know, like, maybe he was gonna kill himself too. Like, maybe it was gonna be like a familicide instead of just a filicide. But yeah, I just can't. It's just so horrible, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna play Chad's arraignment here next up. This is about 8 minutes long, but if you just listen to the stuff that the prosecutor says, he makes amazing points, and I think it's fucking awesome that he's got the highest bond of, like, anybody, like, ever. No one's ever had a $20 million bond before, and the guy fucking deserves it. Like, ugh, disgusting.
Where's he at?
Here. He's shooter still on the porch.
Get him right here. You got him on the porch.
We've asked, that's the last place we've been told.
You show me your hands now! Stand up and walk towards us! Stand up now! Walk towards us! Stand up with your hands up!
We got a visual in the veil. Not showing his hands, not following commands.
Stand up now!
Not showing hands or following commands. His name is Chad Doerman. Chad Doerman.
I know, but we can't.
People need first aid, and he's not complying. And you know he's a shooter. Shoot him.
We gotta find cover first. We ain't no good if we ain't safe ourselves. Hey, no. We need to come from this side where we can see them. Don't take cover behind her. We see them. We're going to approach from this side. We got cover. Right here.
6 covered, 29 and 63 attack that.
We're not working right now.
Show us your fucking hands now! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up now! tell them we're 21. It's in there.
Those guys can confirm that there's people that need first aid, and that's the shooter who's not complying. They need to take care of the
I got it.
victims. They have to shoot him and shoot him.
Man, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm completely sober. Never did drugs a day
63,
in my
we're
life.
21. Get the EMS over here.
Well, I did drugs when I was little, but I don't do drugs now. I'm sober. I'm not trying to fight you. Gatlin,
63.
get your butt inside. Gatlin, get your butt inside.
We on primary?
Now.
29, we got 3 kids down.
3 kids down, 63 down.
Gatlin.
63, we're 21.
Knock
Have
it off.
EMS respond over here.
You're clear, they're being advised.
Robert 34, just start a mass casualty response.
63, do you want them to respond to the Laurel Lindale address? Where exactly do you need them?
We're right in the front yard. What are you doing, man?
Hey, are you copying all this?
Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt
You
nobody.
got anything on you?
No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him.
All right.
He won't bite you.
What's going on, man?
Nothing. Can I stand up? It's kind of uncomfortable.
I'm gonna get
I ain't
you
gonna
here
do
in a
nothing. I ain't
second.
running away. You can do whatever you want with me.
Here. You the only one else inside the house?
What?
You the only one else inside the house?
Yeah.
Sit down right here.
My daughter, she ran over to the fire department.
Sit down.
It's my stepdaughter.
Put him in the cage.
Listen, look.
So yeah, that was the body cam. I've seen it a few times now, and it gets worse every time. I'm thinking about the poor 16-year-old, running down the road she had her little dog with her. They had a little black lab, adorable little puppy. You'll see him running around. Or you probably just saw him running around in the body cam video as Chad's yelling at him to get in the house. But apparently this is a very rural area, the houses are really far apart from each other, and it's a main, highway sort of road that goes down in front of the house, and this little girl was just running up the street with this little dog, and she stopped, she was running toward, there's a firehouse, a little ways up and on the other side of the road, so she was running for the firehouse, but a lady saw her and stopped, and offered to, give her a ride or whatever, but she was just hysterical, and she said, please call 911, my father's killing everybody, or my stepfather is killing everybody, shooting everybody. So of course the lady did call 911. There's a few interviews with her. I was gonna put them in here, but it's really kind of short, and the only thing she says is that she wishes she could get the little girl in the car, but she didn't want to leave her family, something like that. She was just on her way to the grocery store. But yeah, so that was absolutely horrific. And then there was another interview with a guy that lived in the area who said that he was always a little weird. Chad, always a little strange, and that he was always arguing with his wife. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, my thoughts are I wonder if she was gonna leave him, and this was his way of well, you're never gonna see your kids again. If you leave, maybe he was gonna kill himself too. Maybe it was gonna be like a familicide instead of just a filicide. But yeah, I can't. I just can't. It's just so horrible, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna play Chad's arraignment here next up. This is about 8 minutes long, but if you just listen to the stuff that the prosecutor says, he makes amazing points, and I think it's fucking awesome that he's got the highest bond of anybody ever. No one's ever had a $20 million bond before, and the guy fucking deserves it. Ugh, disgusting.
This matter is before the court today for purposes of bond hearing. Mr. Kelm, you were here on behalf of Mr. Doerman. Mr. DeCalvi, Mr. Gass on behalf of the state of Ohio. Mr. Kalm-Esteban, go ahead, sir.
Esteban, Your Honor, he is 32 years old. He lives in New Richmond, married, is employed. He indicates that his relatives, Gloria Doerman, Todd Frost, and Teeth Doerman, may act as co-signers for him. At this time, Your Honor, we would submit to the court that a bond of $75,000 worth of order conditions would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeCalvi.
Judge Mark DeCalvi, Claremont County Prosecutor on behalf of the state. At this point, I'm going to let Mr. Gast handle the bond on our behalf. Thank you.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Judge, we've got law enforcement with us here today. Our office has been involved. Lots of people from our office have been involved with law enforcement throughout yesterday, afternoon, evening, all the way through this morning. And the facts I have for you at this point are as follows. The trauma that this man has inflicted on his family, the community, law enforcement, first responders, and all of the rest of us who have any idea what's going on here is unspeakable. There's been a full admission in this case, Judge. The case is still new. We're still discovering facts. But the evil horror of what we know is impossible to process. In an act of just incomprehensible cruelty, the father that stands before you lined up his 3 young boys, and he executed them in his own home with a rifle. They were ages 3, 4, and 7, Judge. In an act of desperation to save her children, the mother at some point grabbed the gun that father was wielding to attempt to protect them. We know that one of the boys was able to flee into a field near the home. And again, we know from his admission, father hunted that boy down, drug him back to the property, and executed him in front of witnesses. The mother was shot through the hand in her attempt to protect her children. Judge, I asked the court in setting this bond to just begin to imagine their fear. This was the man that every day they woke up looking to for protection, love, guidance in all things. Man they trust more than any other person on earth. Person they rely upon to keep them safe from harm. He was their world, he was their guardian, and he executed them in cold blood. We know that from his admission. By that same admission, Judge, he has committed one of the most monstrous, craven, cowardly acts it will ever be our misfortune to see. To make things even more disturbing, Judge, this was no haphazard act. Again, by his own admission, he planned the events of this day. This did not happen on a whim. He's confessed to what I believe is the worst crime, at least I hope, that I'll see in my lifetime. I hope it's the worst fact pattern that ever comes before this court. Judge, it's important for the court to know, in the bond we're going to request today, for the court to understand Claremont County deputies, Monroe Township Fire and EMS, and other first responders bravely respond to the scene where they don't know what's going on. They did not know what they're facing, and they come into a scene that no one can ever be prepared for. No law enforcement training, no training of any kind prepares you for this. It's easy to forget that these are men and women with families, children, feelings, emotions. They're not some automaton performing a delegated function. They're people. They were required to give CPR to gunshot children, 3, 4, and 7-year-old children. They held these boys in their arms, knowing there was nothing they could do to save them. How long do those scars last? What day do you wake up from that and you're healed? How do you unsee such an abomination? The bond factors this court needs to consider today are set forth in Criminal Rule 46, nature and circumstance of the crime charged, and specifically whether the defendant used or had access to a weapon, including the seriousness of the offense. It's the most serious offense that we have on the books, Judge. This is it. You can't commit a more serious offense. So the nature of the crime charge is the worst crime that can be charged. Did he have access to a weapon? Yes, obviously he did. The weight of the evidence against the defendant at this point, Judge, we stand here with a full admission of the defendant. That also goes to the confirmation of the defendant's identity, and witnesses on scene did see at least part of what happened here. Next, the court is to consider the likelihood this person would return to court if a bond were issued. Again, this is the most heinous crime with the most severe penalty under the law that we presented to the grand jury. That alone would be a major factor in discouraging a person from availing themselves to this court or any other. And the thought to flee and the likelihood of flight is great in the state's opinion. The danger he poses to the community is a factor that this court can consider, and I think with the facts in front of you, Judge, we can't name a person that poses a greater threat to the community. As his prior record goes, Judge, it is fairly minimal. He was charged with a domestic violence in 2010. He is not, to my knowledge, on probation or community control. Judge, the facts of this case are hopefully like no other we will ever see. When this case gets indicted in the Court of Common Pleas, I am certain that a no bond hearing will be held, and I would hope that would be granted. But at this point, this juncture, we're going to ask this court to issue a bond we've never asked for before. I'm going to ask for a bond of $20 million. And I hope I never need to request such a bond again.
Thank you. Date for preliminary hearing?
The date for the preliminary hearing, Judge, is 6/26.
No objection, Your Honor.
The preliminary hearing will be set for June 26th at 1 p.m. At this point in time, bond's going to be set in the amount of $20 million cash or surety. Anything else at this time, Mr. Gast?
No, Judge.
Mr. Kelm? Mr. Kelm, anything further?
Nothing at this time.
All right, thank you.
All rise. Court is in recess.
Okay, so that was it. That was the arraignment. And yeah, so the next court date is, I think they said June 26th, which is like right around the same time as Brian Koberger in the Idaho 4 case. So I'm going to be watching all of those court appearances, you know. That's what I do. I watch them all. And I will, you know, give you guys a report of, you know, my thoughts on it once it's finished. But yeah, so I just wanted to, I guess, what a piece of trash. What a piece of human garbage. Like, how could you do something so horrible? These little boys were so fucking cute. Like, I can't imagine. I just can't. And he's in protective custody, but like, and Ohio is a death penalty state, so I hope he gets the death penalty. They haven't executed anybody in like 4 years, so they're having the same problem that Idaho was having, where they can't get the drugs to do lethal injections. So I hope that they do the same thing that Idaho did and allow firing squads. And I hope that they shoot this man multiple times. Make him hurt before they shoot him. You know, like, shoot him in the stomach and the arm and the leg and, you know, like, bang, bang, bang. Make him have some serious pain and then shoot him in the head. That's just my opinion. Like, he deserves pain, not just death. Like, this man is so gross. Ugh. I never thought I would see someone on this earth that I truly believe was more disgusting than Chris Watts. Ugh. Anyway, I'm sorry that I'm like a bitch right now, but this just makes me so sick. I have a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now too, like, that's a long story, I'm not gonna get into it, but that's why I kind of haven't been on a lot lately. I'm gonna try and get better, because, this genuinely makes me feel better to come on here and talk to you guys. But yeah, so that's about it. I'm gonna go for now. I'll try to get my next video up sooner than later. Alright? Thanks, guys. Love you. Have a good one.